think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal.
You know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great. Great.
I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life.
An ordinary afternoon at Utah Valley University started like any other college speaking event. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old conservative activist who helped propel Donald Trump to victory, was addressing a crowd of about 3,000 students when a single gunshot rang out at 12:20 p.m. Mountain Time. Video footage captured the moment Kirk clutched his neck and collapsed from his chair, blood visible as chaos erupted across the outdoor venue. Eyewitnesses and local authorities said the shot came from a rooftop at a significant distance. Kirk was rushed by private vehicle to Timpanogos Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Kirk wasn't just another conservative commentator. As founder of Turning Point USA at age 18, he built what became the largest conservative youth organization in the country, with chapters at more than 850 colleges. His influence reached far beyond campus debates. After Trump's victory in November, the president credited Kirk's grassroots operation with mobilizing younger voters and voters of color. With 5.3 million followers on X and a popular podcast drawing over 500,000 monthly listeners, Kirk had become one of Trump's most trusted media allies. Just days before his death, he had returned from an overseas speaking tour that included headlining events in Tokyo and South Korea. The timing was particularly cruel. Kirk was launching his American Comeback Tour, a 15-event series across universities where he invited students to debate him live. In a twisted irony, seconds before the fatal shot, Kirk was fielding a question about gun violence from an audience member. The student asked,
"Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America in the last 10 years?
Kirk's response was characteristically direct.
Counting or not counting gang violence?"
Those were among his final words. The investigation has been marked by confusion and contradictory statements from law enforcement. Initially, authorities announced they had a suspect in custody, only to walk back those claims within hours. Bo Mason, head of Utah's Department of Public Safety, explained the mix-up.
Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zinn, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect and was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice.
Governor Cox then announced they were interviewing another person of interest, but FBI Director Kash Patel later posted on social media that this individual had also been released following interrogation. The back and forth left the public with more questions than answers about the investigation's progress.
We are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to the shooting. I want to make it crystal clear right now to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
The only concrete evidence investigators have shared is grainy security camera footage showing a figure dressed in dark clothing. As Mason admitted,
So you can kind of guess what the quality of that is.
Trump's response was swift and emotional. In a video message from the Oval Office, the president connected Kirk's death to a broader pattern of political violence.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country.
The president ordered flags flown at half-staff until Sunday in Kirk's honor, calling him a martyr for truth and freedom. Even political opponents expressed shock at the violence. Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries stated,
Political violence of any kind and against any individual is unacceptable and completely incompatible with American values.
Charlie Kirk never shied away from inflammatory statements, and his views often sparked fierce debate. His positions on women, race, LGBTQ issues and gun rights made him a lightning rod for criticism while endearing him to conservative audiences. On women's roles, Kirk was uncompromising in his traditionalist views. He repeatedly argued that women should prioritise motherhood over careers, claiming young women were suffering because they focused on jobs over families. His comments about birth control were particularly controversial, asserting it made women angry and bitter, and that females over 30 aren't attractive in the dating pool. Kirk's stance on race was equally divisive. He consistently denied the existence of white privilege, calling it a racist lie, and was a vocal critic of critical race theory. In one campus event, he called George Floyd a scumbag and made disputed claims about Floyd's death. Perhaps most controversially, he argued that the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. was exaggerated, calling King awful and not a good person, and describing the civil rights movement as a huge mistake. His views on LGBTQ issues were consistently oppositional. Kirk described progressive stances on gender and sexuality as sexual anarchy, claiming Democrats wanted a society where there is no cultural identity. He was a prominent voice against LGBTQ inclusive education and frequently condemned what he saw as the breakdown of traditional family structures. On gun violence, Kirk's position remained unwavering even in death's shadow. Just months ago, he stated,
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect.
He consistently pivoted conversations about mass shootings toward mental health and cultural decline rather than gun control measures. The manhunt continues for Kirk's killer, but his polarizing legacy ensures the debates he sparked will persist long after his voice has been silenced. At 31, Charlie Kirk died as he lived, at the center of America's culture wars, a victim of the very political violence he had warned was tearing the country apart.